Willful blindness is a constituent of one form of criminally negligent manslaughter by which a defendant intentionally puts themselves in a position where they will be unaware of facts. Now then, a few weeks ago Emmanuel Macron, the ever so responsible president of France, told his electorate and indeed the wider EU, Britain's Oxford AstraZeneca jab was quasi-ineffective in older people. He basically said it didn't work. It's possible he didn't know what he was talking about, but I'm sure a decent brief could contend he intentionally put himself in a position where he was unaware of facts. From that moment, and aided and abetted by countless faceless EU voices, his willful blindness has spread into an EU-wide crisis as unknown numbers of European citizens refuse a Brit jab. The Oxford AstraZeneca jab of course works spectacularly well, but at roughly the same time Mr. Macron shocked everyone with his rank stupidity. One of France's own vaccine contenders had just miserably failed. See what I'm getting at here? His unchecked, wildly wrong, and hyper-political outburst has led to massive numbers of French people body swerving the Oxford vaccine in favor of, well, nothing actually. You don't need to be a trained epidemiologist to figure some of them, statistically, will die from a COVID-related condition as a result. That would seem to me the basis of a decent involuntary manslaughter case. We learned today that, as a result of the now entrenched suspicion, the pace of France's COVID-19 vaccination program is too slow to prevent new and severe lockdown measures being brought in or the death rate rising. Medics are struggling to persuade citizens to take the Oxford AstraZeneca shot simply because of what Mr. Macron said. And it's not just France. In Germany, we hear the insane news that 1.2 million doses of the Oxford jab are lying unused, again largely because of disinformation from Mr. Macron and indeed various EU officials, and a German newspaper. And in Italy, as revealed by my colleague Joe Barnes this morning, thousands of Italian doctors are demanding the AstraZeneca vaccine be dropped, for reasons which aren't wholly clear but do seem to bear all the hallmarks of a classic anti-Brit Euro tantrum. Italian plastic surgeon Paolo Mezzana, a representative for the group of 3,500 private specialists, said, "It's not that we are acting like spoiled children," and added, "We are not class B doctors," which handily has saved me the effort of pointing out they're probably class B doctors acting like spoiled children. More worryingly, Joe tells me the Oxford jab is being openly shunned by people in Italy, Germany, France and Belgium, and at least 10 member states have chosen not to approve the jab for use in people over 65 because of willful disinformation. The situation is so critical EU boss Ursula von der Leyen, who was initially also more than a touch sneery about Britain's vaccine, has now U-turned and said loudly she would be willing to take the Oxford jab. And German Health Minister Jens Spahn is almost begging citizens to take the Oxford jab. Well, of course he is. If they don't, people die and the country remains crippled by lockdown. The European Medicines Agency has of course authorized the Oxford vaccine for use across the bloc for all adults, and results in Scotland show the Oxford jab is cutting COVID deaths in the over 65s by more than 90%. Which brings me back to Emmanuel Macron. Quite spectacularly, the president was at the forefront of a new law brought in last year which prevents any agency from influencing French democracy with false information. It beefs up an 1881 law making it illegal to disturb public peace through the publication, dissemination, or reproduction of fake news in bad faith. The penalty for anyone convicted is up to 1 year in prison and a £75,000 fine. Right now, if anyone deserves to hear the clank of the jailer's keys, it is Emmanuel Fake News Macron.